And
Mhm.
I know, and right before you sent me the result of what you were waiting for, you said, what'd you say? You said, well, yeah, I visualize this, and I was like, so I wanted to have a quick conversation with you about praying and visualizing things in your life. Like, how do you see uh praying? Just the word pray, because I know some people like to think praying is like, oh, you got to pray to this person or that person, or praying is begging for something. And I don't think
Mhm.
it is, but I like to kind of just hear how you take the word praying. Like, how do you see it in your world?
Yeah, I think to me, one, everyone sees that word differently, right? If you're really religious, it means something. If you're not religious, it means a whole different thing, right? And you don't do it, or you do it because of that. Um, I think the two that you mentioned, like visualizing and praying, is the same thing to a degree, and I can feel like the religious people going, no, they're not. But
Right.
let me explain. I guess it's like, um, I think we all need to believe that there's something that's bigger than us, that can help us in times of of us needing stuff, right? And prayer in the religious sense is like, you, the the Father in heaven, the angels, and all the things that are associated with it, that you send to them, and you ask for something, knowing, and that in faith that you're going to get something in return. But that's the key point, and people
Right.
tend to forget that, right? So my belief is, one, that they're the same thing. So visualization and praying is the same. Yeah, one has a religious connotation or relationship to it, but if if you look at the details and you do them the same kind of way, you I believe that you will get positive results. So whether I'm saying it's prayer or conscious thought that you're
Hmm.
sending into the universe and hoping that, wishing that something is going to happen, or dreaming, right? All this stuff.
Right.
Um, they're all the same thing. But I do believe that we have to still do our part, something. You can't just sit and pray and just lay back. You either gotta, like, for instance, you're in a bad situation, you gotta stand strong. You gotta continue being who you are. Don't let adversity change you into something negative. And then that
Right.
prayer will slowly, and you have faith in the background that it'll come back, right? And I don't want to be all over the place with it, but to me, it is very deep. And I believe that. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Yes,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, I don't try to connect all that stuff, especially the word praying with, let's say, the Bible, the church, or a God. You know, like you said, there's people who do it that way, but I like to believe that just speaking it into existence in the universe, right? You just put it out there, and things will happen. And also, like you just said, but prayers without action is doesn't really help either, right? So
right,
if I say, hey, I'm trying to get this job, right, what I do is I'll try to visualize myself at the interview, shaking the person's hand at the interview, me sitting down, uh and then me saying, I'll start whenever you guys need me, I'll start ASAP, right? That's just visualizing. But if you don't take the action, meaning let me look for a job, then it's just not going to get anywhere. So you got to have some sort of action behind your manifestation or your prayers. It's not like you pray to get a job and you get a knock on your door and here it is. And I think
right.
there's got to be some sort of motion behind that as well. So
This is the way that there's a lot of, we got a lot of good comments coming through the feed too. But while I tell you this next point, is the way I see it is, and forgive me in the way that I deliver it, because people, I have a way of doing things. You get it, you get it. You don't, it is what it is. But it's like, if you order something on Amazon today, right? You go on your phone or on your laptop and you order it. It says it should arrive on, whatever, 3 to 7 business days, right? Do you know it's going to show up on your door within 3 to 7 business days, or no?
possibly,
Most likely it's going to end
most
up,
likely,
right? They've got it
yeah.
down to a science every day. People. So the point of it is like The prayer or the intention, in sending to the universe is you going on your phone and making the order, right? The other piece that I was saying is you're going to get it. But the way prayer and intention, all those other things work is you have to have faith for it to come back to you, right? Just like your package that you just delivered is coming back to you, that because you have faith in either your God, your religion, the universe, whatever it is that you're asking for, you have
Right.
faith that entity, that thing is going to give it to you. So that's the other piece, right? And then the only difference really is when you're getting it. Obviously, when you order online, it's 3 to 7 business days. But when you're talking about things that you want in your life, like you want a new Tesla, you want this new job, you may not get it in a day. It may take a week. And it
Right.
might even be, you getting tested to see if you're going to get that faith that you need to have. So the faith with prayer goes along hand in hand, just like what was it called? The visualization and
Yeah.
belief, right? They go
Yeah.
together. And I also think personally, there's a third piece to that. And I call it what I would call like the Holy Trinity, as people know, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. The
Hmm.
three has a sacred number in the universe or whatever. And pardon me if I don't want to get too crazy with it. But so the three things is you have to have the intent, which is the prayer, or we'll call the other one the visualization, right? The what was it? What was the thing that we call the when you're focusing on it coming back to you or whatever, the visualization, we use that word, right?
Yeah.
So you have the visualization or the prayer, which is the same thing depending on how you're looking at it. The other one is the belief or faith that it's going to happen, right?
Hmm.
And then the third one is tying it in physically. So when people pray, what do they do with their bodies, right?
Right.
So they bring it together. So now you're bringing the mind, which is the intent. You're also bringing the physical, which is there, right? And then the belief is the spirit side. You get all three of those together, but strongly, truly believe that to be what it is. And then continuing to do your part, right? You can almost add as a fourth part, but that's all part of it, right? And I think that's kind of how that works. In a nutshell, I can
Yeah.
get deeper with it in my belief, but you asked me. So what do you think, and how do you go about doing that?
Yeah. Like Mud just said in the chat, and I actually wrote it down too. Like prayers is a manifestation of reality. Uh, that's how I see it. And when I say that I'm not praying to something or someone, that's not us trying to be disrespectful or me trying to be disrespectful. Um, because while we're saying that, but we're still saying you got to have belief, you got to have faith, right? And these are things that you can, I would say, attach to, let's say, church or a God or someone you pray to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still think one of the best things you can do for yourself is to actually believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself, believe you can do something too. And when you start to think that way and actually play that role, things just start to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just how I am. I like, like I said, like if I say, "Hey, I want to get this job," I'll actually visualize those words just flying from my mouth and just going in the universe, and somehow, some way, I believe and have faith that it comes back. You know,
Yeah.
and that's all it is, man. And it's just, and the reason I brought up because we spoke about that, you know, not really speak too much on the praying part. It's just that when we talk, it's the stuff we talk about, it comes down to that, like the belief
Yeah.
in yourself and your surroundings, the universe, the earth, and all that, and it just comes all back. And that's what it is. And what I mean also, uh when I said prayers without action, like I said, you can't just sit there and want something and then you don't try to go towards that thing that you want. Right now, if you say, "Hey, I want to be a teacher in the next 5 years," well, you can't just pray for it and wait for it, right? You gotta attend some sort of school. You
Right.
gotta do some sort of research, right? You have to have some sort of action behind it as well. So, and that's
Yeah.
just how I'm
So
saying.
just a couple of things. This is I think this topic we literally can talk the whole podcast about it, right? And I
Yeah,
think Mud is adding a lot of really good comment. The one that he's got, the way he said there is no out there, all happens within us. I can already tell when someone says like that. I know they're what I call connected, right? So
Yeah.
Mud, I appreciate that. Mud, he or she, whoever you are, appreciate you watching and appreciate you participating. And that's great content and comment there. And I truly believe that as well. That you when I say out there, you know what I mean, and that's a good thing he pointed it out. However you want to interpret that, right? And I don't mean out there because the universe and God is within us. If that's what you want to believe, the spirit is within us. So it is within and not from the outside. And the other piece that you said about um, praying but not doing anything about it, and this will tie in later to something we'll talk about later. But it's like you wanting to see a tree come down, but you're not willing to chop the tree. You want the reward of watching it come down, but you don't want the reward or the work of actually like the physical work to put it in. Does that make sense?
Mm. And also,
So
he said, I'd like to ask you guys a question. How about when I ask you both to pray for me, that focusing on the energy intention to help me out or something? Um, yeah, I think to me, that's what it is, right? Like it's that energy that I'm putting it out there, and hopefully that's the energy you feel.
right,
Um, and hopefully that's the energy that snaps you out of whatever it is, and you just and you realize, you know what, I can do this, or whatever it is, whatever
right,
you need praying, you need us to pray for. And to me, hopefully it's this energy that just goes throughout the universe, and maybe it's not just for me, but the universe actually listens to you and does something for you. Or if none of those things happen, what you're doing is you're making this thing work, and hopefully something triggers and just goes, you know what, go ahead, you can do this. K- Go out
yeah,
there and do it. And and like I said, it doesn't have to be a thing that just comes and just, it's believing in yourself as well. And that's what it is. Energy is a big part of it when it
yeah.
comes to manifestation, I believe.
Yeah, another way to look at it, and you can look at it however way. There's multiple ways that you can look at it, but whatever way works for you. Just like diet and everything else is different. The way you work out, what if you and I both work out and do the same workout? We're not going to get the same results because the way that you look is the way different. Your body is different. The way that you're mindful, everything you name,
Mm,
everything on all the variables, it happens. So to answer Mud's question though, like you know, yeah, when you pray for somebody else, and my belief is I think it multiplies, right? Because if someone's hurting and they ask you to pray for them, that means that they're already praying for themselves. Now when you
hmm
multiply, now you're just adding to it, right? And I think also whether you wish good or bad, when you think of karma, right, is they might get that bad, but then it'll turn around. And the way karma works is it's going to work its way back to you, because what you push out into the world, you'll get back, right?
hmm
So if you push out good in the world, you'll get good back in the world. People who want to argue that can argue all day, but how happy are they, right?
Right.
I know what I do, and I know what my life is like. Is it perfect? No, that's not perfect, but at least I have a
But
system that I believe is working for me.
Gia, look at the example that I gave with my beard, right? A
Yeah.
4-year old gave me a compliment.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa. And I gave it right back. It's one of those things like the more you give, the more you get in
Absolutely.
return. So,
Yeah, but someone treats you nice, what do you want to do for them? Right?
exactly.
So the universe,
Yeah.
God, prayers, that's kind of how it works, because that's how the balance of the two work.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? It's like when you
Right.
have a water in a bucket and you spin it, it'll continue to spin because the energy just wants to keep doing that. Eventually it'll slow down, but you need to add to it, or else that water in that
Right.
bucket will decay, and anything stagnant turns bacteria and dies.
hmm
But simply stirring that will keep it for like longer, believe it or not. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, I believe. All right. We're gonna switch it. And I appreciate the chat chiming in on that. I know it's one of those topics that, like you said, we can sit here and talk about it and see it so many ways. Um, and it's just hopefully nobody's offended by that, because I don't think we said anything crazy or bad. It's just but believe in yourself is a great start, and then from there, um, we can teach you how to believe in yourself. But once you do, you know how it feels, and you could definitely, whatever it is you're going through, you can push through it. So, you know,
Yeah.
and